And we just came, as mentioned earlier, off the heels of the case study competition that Hult ran, and I'm beginning to feel like I'm part of this university right now. It seems it's one event after the other, and I talk to the folks here and enjoy speaking to the folks here often, and am really, really impressed with the innovation that's going on in this university, and particularly the internationalization of the university. If I look tired, it's because I just got off a plane from Miami. We were meeting yesterday with the new president of Honduras. In his campaign, he spent a day up here at MIT with me, and we went over the Media Lab and did a number of things, and he used the One Laptop Per Child initiative in his campaign. It's not the first time it's happened, actually. A lot of people trying to win their campaigns are using this as a way to look good, because anything about children is a great way to look good. When we talk about Greenovate here, it's interesting because we come at this from a different angle. And we came at it from what countries need, not what is good for the country sort of thing. A lot of the companies that you'll read about in this great book is about innovation in the United States and some of the developed world, where they're trying to change the equation of how we're using too much energy. In our situation, we go to countries that don't have energy to use in many cases. Either electricity is far too expensive for them to use and power their computers, which is what we're all about as children's computers, and or they just don't have it at all. And so we have ways in which we've developed this hardware that will use the least amount of energy, not in the sense of an electric-powered car or some of the neat things that we'll be seeing in our own environment soon, but rather out of necessity. And maybe we'll learn a lesson this way, the other way. And much like the companies that when they started with telephones, they started with cell phones because landlines were impossible to build at that time. Things will change, innovations will happen, and hopefully with all these initiatives to save our planet, some of these initiatives will take hold in all parts of the world. The obvious, let me see if I can do this right. There we go. The obvious environmental savings here is that we load about 1,000 books on this machine in full swing. And not only is it impossible for certain parts of the world to ship books to locations like in remote villages in Africa or Latin America or so on, but just the savings of trees and print and all that goes into generating a hardcover book and using a digital form is a way to innovate in Greenovate, because there is so much that is saved, not only the convenience of putting the books in the machine, but also the resulting byproduct of not having to destroy trees to generate the books, etc. When we built the computer, one of the major initiatives was for us to keep the power management down. So when you look at our computers, I've got a bag of several computers, there's some back there that you can see, but one of the premier items in the computer is that it runs on flash and not a hard drive. And when you run a computer on flash, you use about 1/10 the energy as you would with a hard drive. Not only the fact that you don't have any moving parts, so you don't have a fan, you don't have a grill, you don't have a machine that will get destroyed by sand and water, and so on. But from an energy management perspective, the fact that we can run the computer on 1/10 the power allows us a lot of different byproduct innovations. Because the wattage is so low relative to what other computers use, and if you look at the far right screen, that's a typical laptop versus what we're using on the left side. The fact that we have such low voltage means that we can run the machine on solar power and on a crank. And in many cases, that's the only way that these countries have power, and that is through the sun and through human power. So this innovation leads to different ways of powering the computer, and is quite innovative, and hopefully this takes hold not only in parts of the world that need this, but also perhaps in parts of the world like the US that could choose this as an option as opposed to what we use now. There was a study done that if you were to convert the laptop and desktop power consumption in a year worldwide and flip it all to us selling our machines to everyone, which would be a great thing in and of itself, but if you were to flip that, you see that the terawatts hours of energy that are used currently is about 90, I don't know what that measure is, 90 something. And it would be about 1/10 or less than 1/10 of the amount that's used now. So, you know, the power consumption is a key component of any Greenovate. Is this a verb or a term now or what? I don't know whether I should be using it in sentences. But it would save billions of dollars in energy, but also, of course, the resulting byproducts of it. The design of the computer is also innovative in that everything is reusable. There's no mercury in it, like most computers would have. Everything is biodegradable. So again, when you look at it from a pure environmental safety standpoint, it stands alone. And when we did the final study on the environmental impact, there's a lot of components that you would look at. For instance, not only power consumption, but the battery life, for which we're about 1.5 times the normal battery life. The lifetime of the computer, which means you're not throwing it away. It's about 2.5 times the regular lifetime of a computer. The size of it, the weight, all this, the toxicity of it, all these items are measurements of environmental impact, and all of them, we come in the lowest score, which is a good thing. The highest amount of energy per watt, and the lowest amount in all those other categories. So we've taken to heart, in many ways, a green planet, but we've done it by necessity, not by choice. And we hope that, you know, a lot of these other examples that companies have, which are all great initiatives, and it's a terrific book, by the way. I had the opportunity to browse through it ahead of time to make sure my chapter was right. And so I started browsing through, and really a fantastic outline of what companies are doing today to save the planet. And these innovations create tremendous economic impact of these companies. And I'm very close to the private equity and the venture capital community, and I can tell you that at least 50% of what their money's going into is for green type initiatives today. So it's a hot area for those of you who want to get into a nice area when you get out of this fine institution. So with that, I think I would like to open it up to any questions. Again, I'm delighted to be a part of this launch, and I think you're going to find this to be a really innovative book on an innovative topic.